Going live. We're going to, hello, guys. We are internet broadcast today. And we're live. We're so excited that you're here. Before we was going to do this whole countdown for you guys and get you guys all excited and ready. And so we just thought, you know what, let's get on and give you guys a few minutes to get on. It is 6:59. Our conversation will be starting in a minute, but we want to get you guys in. Come on in, say hello. So we want to give time for that. I chose to also, so we're live on YouTube. We're also live on Facebook. We're on Facebook for America's Big Sister Foundation, as well as Facebook on Tragil Way page. So as you're coming in, just come on and say hello. Let us know that you're in on this amazing call. For those that's coming in, I know you see under here, it's a May mental health discussion instead of saying Tragil Way Johnson. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Tragil Way Johnson. The people are coming in. Yes. We have Deborah Owens today, who's amazing, who if you had a chance to look at our YouTube last week, she and I, we dove into that conversation. And so we're so excited to have Deborah on the team, who actually has created the conversations for us to keep going and to keep moving. So I want to give hand claps to Deborah. And today we have our special guest, Dominique is here. And Dominique. Yes. And so we thought, listen, let's get some, sister, we can do our sister chat all day, but getting Dominique in is also a professional outlook on some of the space as well. And so we're so excited that she's able to kind of come in, jump in, and be a part of the conversation. So I see some of the calls kind of building, and I'm looking for comments. So again, don't be afraid to let us know where you're from. We're all about saying hello and commenting back and chatting back. We want to get some of you guys' thoughts and ideas. So do not be afraid in the space. Okay. Righty. So we're at 7. And so, okay, let me see y'all. Y'all hear my sound?
It's all good.
Let's see who's on. So I see Andrew's on. Hi, Andrew. Dr. Beverly Key is on. Glad to be in the house. Takara's on. Hi, Takara. Hi, good to see you guys. Thanks for jumping in. So some of them, because I did some of it Facebook, I see them coming together, right? Yeah. So you guys are watching. Yes, y'all got to watch. Y'all got to ask questions. Y'all got to jump in there so you guys can get the viewer of the day award. Yes. Yeah. And so I'm going to pass it over to Deborah. Deborah going to lead us. Let's go. Let's have some good chat. Today is called The Trap.
It's a trap, like trap music. Let's get ratchet up in here. No, totally kidding.
Ashley said,
oh my goodness. Hey, y'all. I'm so excited about this podcast tonight. This is week 2 on mental health, and it is a trap. What is the trap, you ask? Social media, y'all. Social media is the trap. And we all know that how encompassing it can get, how we can sometimes allow social media to engulf our lives and allow it to consume us. That's why it's sometimes considered as a trap. And we compare ourselves to one another. We compare ourselves to different people across social media.
Yeah.
So that's why this week is called The Trap.
Yeah, Brother Lee got a very important topic, absolutely. And so, mental health, we talked about last week. We dove into defining it. What is it? And so today, I think it's kind of that conversation around for those that are listening, for those that are a part of it, it's just kind of now saying, hey, you know what? we have several ways that we fall into some of these mental health issues. But one that is so just so huge right now that we're missing the opportunity to discuss is the social media part, right? And so we're just kind of we know how you be like somebody trying to be a secret. We taking the secret away and getting you guys into a conversation, so you guys can understand that these are this thing that's called the social media is absolutely a trap. And so we want to make sure we get some of you guys feedback in this conversation as well. Someone saying Ari is on, and someone else got some more names on there. And so we just want to have these discussions now. And some of you guys can tell us if you feel that that's a trap too that you've been in. But this is our space right now to discuss the trap called social media.
And please ask your questions. We want to have a discussion around this as we're going. So feel free to jump in wherever you guys feel the need to. So with social media, like we know that a lot of social media is not real. It's real and fake. Like I get sometimes I hear people trying to be like the filters on Snapchat or on Instagram. They're trying to create themselves so that they always look like a filter, which that's not real.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
We all know how. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying that's so good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and that's not real life, and we're always trying to meet different expectations and setting different expectations for ourselves that we're never going to achieve, and then we end up thinking that we're a failure.
Yeah.
Somebody self-love. Yes, that's so important.
Yeah, I feel like with social media, I feel like people only want you to see what they want you to see. You don't see all of the realness. You don't see the sadness. You don't see the hurt. You don't see the realness. You just see whatever people want you to see. And it's kind of like this is all you're going to see. You're not going to go into anything else, because if you go to anything else, then it's kind of like, oh, now my secret is out. And I don't know how to come back from that.
Right. Or like you're going to see what it's really like, what my life is really like. Like I imagine, I don't know, I don't have kids, but if I had kids and I was trying to take a picture with a family, and I just imagine the kids like all running around and poking at each other and pulling each other's hair. And then the second that I get everybody straight looking at the camera, snap the photo, and everybody thinks, oh, that's such a great photo. Like, how did you do that? But they didn't see the hour that it took us to get that 1 second, everybody looking at the camera.
And so we're captivating one moment, right? We're capturing this one moment. We're getting thumbs up, which is so good. So I took the liberty to look up that mind trap, right? Because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the mind traps. And so mind traps are irrational thought patterns that blinds you to the truth, right? And it causes you to make errors in judgment. And so we're in the space where we're saying, hey, social media is blinding you from the truth. And because it's blinding you from the truth, you're not looking at the truth half of the time. It's causing you to make these errors in judgment. It's causing you to now fall into a space where you're trying to create perfection. It's causing you to now find yourself falling down, and you get into a space of darkness. Why? Because you have this false idea of what truth is, all because this is what the social media space is giving you. It's a mind trap. And the reality is it's set up actually for this space, right? It is set up to program us to think something different. It's a programmatic space, right? It's kind of one of those things where, we have to be more wiser at how we use this. We have to be more wiser in that space on understanding the purpose, finding that true purpose of what social media is, and not the place to lift you up to, right now we're here to educate. We feel that that's, our abilities right now to be here. So we think that we are using the platform in its correct space, but there are so many people that are not, right?
Right.
And so that's it. That's that mind trap. And because I want you guys to understand that it's a mind trap that you can't, we don't want you to fall into. So this is our conversation. So and spoke, she says, absolutely looking at social media looks like this is what I have to look like to be accepted. But in reality, self is all to be accepted. It's a mind trap.
Yes. So good. One thing I always, and I say this a lot, I say this to myself, I say this to friends that are in the comparison trap. Something that I've heard in the past from Pastor Stephen from Elevation Church, as well as many other pastors, stop comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. So everything that you're doing in the background, you think that everybody else already has it and they're already there, but you're on a different path. Everyone is on a different path, and you can't compare your story. I can't compare my story to your story, Tragil, or your story. We all have different paths. We all have different stories.
Yes, that part right there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like, being in ministry and also being a representative of a mental health ministry that I'm a part of, it's like the comparison does not come from God. It comes from the enemy. The enemy wants you to compare each other because he wants you to be prideful, and then he wants you to feel like, oh, well, I didn't get to the next steps, so I'm going to stay right here because I can't get to those next steps because everybody else has already done it for me. When we just need to be content with where we're at, because something's going to be used when we're standing still and allowing God, to move us instead of just comparing. We're not supposed to be comparing with our brothers or with our sisters. We're supposed to be, celebrating them, and supposed to be their cheerleader, and just being happy and content with where we're at.
That's so good.
Yeah. So all these graduations are coming up right now, right? And so if you're someone that's following the social media path, you're seeing it over and over again, and instantly, what is it saying to you, right? And so you got to be careful where it's not, oh, well, this social media, now, oh man, I'm a failure because I didn't graduate. Oh, and so it begins to work on your mind that way, and you start believing I'm accomplished, or and now you just begin to dig this deep hole, all because this is just like you said, a highlight reel, and you're not getting the way Facebook give you the algorithms. You're not getting the majority of the stories. You're just getting some, and so understanding those things are really, really deep. But what I do know is that although we can't control the algorithms, we can control our minds, right? Control those mental spaces, that's it, right? And so how do we do that? And I think, even going into that space of giving some opportunities to even kind of discuss like ways that we can get a hold to that trap, and how do we fight against this trap?
Yeah.
One thing that I've had to do in the past, and I am planning to do here in the future, is just getting off of social media a little bit. Limit the time on social media. Maybe do it like an hour a day, sporadically throughout the day, an hour a day, so that you're not just constantly swiping an hour or hours at a time, because all of that content over and over and over, it can be mind numbing.
Yeah, and it actually tells us how many hours you're on nowadays. They're like, oh, you're on the screen this long. I'm like, that's not. You can't think that's healthy, right? And so you have to do something. And so even in my research on just kind of knowing we was getting to this topic, my thought was, let's see, like, what are some ways that that's even, kind of placed out there. So there's these 4 ways that I found when I was researching. It was 1, invest time in activities that counter this, So invest in activities, invest in other things, like you say, you're getting off of it. Now invest your time in other things. The other one was become more aware. And that's what we're doing today. We're bringing awareness to this, because know better, right? The story is you do better.
Do better.
So you become more aware of it, and you're not buying into this bias, and you're not buying into these different conversations of confirming who you are. And you know, because that's another thing. We're always trying to get likes, and when we don't get likes, that's also, I mean, people don't like us, but they haven't even seen it. You know. The third one. Oh, see, y'all got fingers. See, yeah, and I didn't even. Some people like, she didn't even reply to my post. I didn't even see the post. The algorithm ain't sent in my way. You know,
so good.
You can't let that determine, you know, your thoughts on that. The third one was stop blaming everyone else. Right, so you're getting these mental traps, and so now you're blaming everyone else and why you're not out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, oh well, it's someone else's fault. It's because of this person. It's because of that person. Because now you're creating this assessment of yourself and missing the opportunities to really kind of, you know, give yourself grace in some of these spaces. Right. You know,
that's right. So good.
Yourself, and you're like, and because, and you know, from beauty on down, and then it's like, come on, guys, we got to do better. And the final one that I love the best is lose the perfection, right? Lose perfectionism, lose that thought of perfectionism. Like, how do we lose it?
On.
How do we, you know, so I'm always I poke fun at certain things. And today Deborah was like, hey, your hair was cute. I was like, oh, good. It's not, because it's not a perfection thing for me. It's just say, hey, I just want to make sure my hair in all the little place when I get it, but it's not that, right? So I'm gonna make sure that I downplay this thing as much as I'm gonna downplay the process. Because I don't want that to be the reason. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, perfection is that's not the answer. How do we lose that perfection space, right? And not, you know, compare, because there's so many illnesses that's coming from that. Depression, you know, you know, I don't know, you know, you guys can tell me,
anxiety.
But I know anxiety. I know that because it's cousins with each other, right? Because you start stress too much, now you're trying to do other things, then you're finding yourself in bipolar depression, and then you know, so now we're clinically, you know, it just become cousins, and then it just pile on, and now we just find ourselves not being able to identify or even understand who we are, and we then left with needing medication, you know?
Yeah. And then it's also paralyzing. Social media, it can be very paralyzing if you get in that, if you allow yourself to get into that trap. It's because you don't feel like you're as good, or you don't feel as if you're as good as everyone else, because you see what they're doing and what they've done. So it's like, well, they already did it, so why should I even try? I'm not going to try because I can't hit that, or I can't, you know what I mean? So it's like, so it's very paralyzing. They went on that trip. I can't afford to go on that trip. Like, why? How can they afford to go on? We work at the same job. We make the same amount of money. How can they go, but I can't? So, and it's like, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to stay in the house.
Wow, that, you know what? I never thought about that. Like, so I didn't even go on no trip, because I can't go on one that outbeats or beats that one. I didn't even go on one at all. Wow.
I don't want to go anywhere. I'm just going to stay in the house.
Wow. You know what? I didn't know.
It's so paralyzing.
Is that deep? Okay. Because I'm going outside. I don't care if it's for a bike ride. I'm going outside. I'm going to take my pictures. Y'all going to see me riding the bike, and it ain't nothing back there.
Yes. Get some fresh air. Go out and get some fresh air.
Wow. Stop allowing
so good.
You guys, we can't allow it to paralyze us. We can't stop living life because of it. Right? And so even when I look at people with their new ideas, I'm even questioning in their conversations, is it truly yours? Right? Is that really your idea? Or is it something programmatically that happened because you have watched social media so much? Right? So when I get people like, really your passion, or is that somebody else's passion that you happen to, you know? And I don't mind that. I'm all about, you know, you see something, you see a mentor, you jump, you know, you follow some leads, but let's be clear of who it is that we are. And we really gotta, you know, sometimes get all, like you say, take your time away from social media and begin to even write, who am I? What is my,
is that part? That is huge. That is huge. And I feel like once you know who you are, social media you won't allow you to get sucked into that trap.
Right.
Or it may be more difficult to get sucked into that trap once you know who you are.
Yeah.
Because you won't allow different things to affect you.
That's good.
Yeah, that is
How many
good.
guys in this? Yes. Yeah, keep going. 'Cause I wanted to look at Facebook to see some of them. I'm able to see some of them. I'm not, but I'm loving this.
So, and we talked a lot about that. So with social media, you touched on it. Excuse me. Check who you're following. Are you following the right people? Are you following negative people? Are you following positive people? That could also be part of the issue for the mind games. Check who you're following. What kind of content are they putting out? Is it a lot of negative comments or content about, I can't think of anything negative right now, but is it just a lot of negative content that gives you anxiety? Is it the fake news? So it's about the content that your followers are putting out into your newsfeed.
Yeah. And I also think the most important thing is whether who you following is positive or negative. If they are positive, don't put them on a pedestal. Don't look at them as an idol. Like, you still need to know who you are. You need to call yourself out. Like, if they're positive, that's great. And if they're encouraging you and motivating you to be all that you can be, that's great. But it goes back to the foundation of, who are you? Who are you, and are you going to stand with that? Like, don't let social media change who you are. Like, you are good enough. You are good enough.
You are good enough. You are. Somebody put that in the chat. I am good enough.
So good.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. Don't allow social media to morph you into a bot.
Right.
Right. I had my mom is on. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, she says now for her, she's one that, is called to kind of do the lives and to get on the videos. But what she have understood is just based on this conversation we said, I know I'm enough. I have learned not to be so concerned with how many I can get in the room. My focus is on what do I have for those that are in the room, even if it's one person. Back to, who am I? What am I here for? And if this is what I'm here for, I don't care if one of you guys are in the room, I know we're still doing our job, right? And so if I'm here and I'm saying, hey, I know we're listening to this, but this is ministry. And I tell people all the time that I am clear to make sure that mental health discussion don't not kick God out. It doesn't mean that we don't have those conversations, because I know God was concerned about our mental health as well. And so we don't pull out that space. So to be able to say this is ministry. So yeah, we don't have as many followers, and y'all like, oh, so it's not that many followers. Some people tend to unfollow because there's not a lot of followers, right? And it's like, wait a minute, we're talking good stuff here,
Yeah.
And so yeah, being okay and saying, you know what, even in the spiritual space, that this is where we're at. So my mom, being a pastor, that was kind of her thing. She'll get on. She don't care if it's one person. She'll wait though for one person. It's always cute. She'll be sitting there like, I'm waiting for one person.
Oh, man.
Love so much. Yes.
That is awesome.
That's so good. Don't be tied to the labels either. Like, mental health is big. And I think that we need to continue doing the job to end the stigma of mental health. And we still need to make it a normalcy to talk about it. Don't hide behind it. Don't be ashamed about it, but also don't label yourself. Like, if you have bipolar, or if you have anxiety, don't behind that label, because you are more than just what that illness is or what that disorder is. And so you have to be confident in knowing, yes, it is a mental health illness, but that's not going to define me. And that's where we have to stay away from that social media of what social media is saying we are, and allowing that to kind of sink in. Like, you are already made and created. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. Don't hide behind those labels. And I'm sorry, my screens keep going light and dark, but I'm an advocate of not hiding behind labels. Like, just say who you are, claim it, and just say, it's God made me that way, but that's not going to stop me. That's not going to make me handicapped for doing the things and living out the purpose that I know that I'm called to do.
I love it. So last week we talked about how mental health is being normalized, destigmatized, and we you know what I'm saying, we celebrate that. But what you're saying is, now that it is normalized, let's make sure though that we don't buy so much into it that we begin to make it define who we are. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's normalized. So everybody's like, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. No, I you know what I mean? Like, and again, if you got to be able to think I'm the healed. I always say I'm the healed. Okay. I know. I'm healed from this. But in this space though, you're saying, hey, it is normalized. We are having a conversation. It's absolutely great. But you're saying, let's not have it. I love that. Yeah. Let's not make it who we are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. What are some, excuse me. What are some appropriate ways that you would use social media, that you find to use social media?
Oh, so I'll start with myself to say what I found social media to be. It is an opportunity for a brand. Like, I always look at it as a brand. I know people's like, oh, get away from I know I've had this conversation with other people, like, get away from the brand word, but it's who I am. And I use it for the purpose for, explaining who I am, because I am someone that has a business. And someone that has a business, it's a nonprofit business, it's a social, entrepreneurship opportunities, but I use it for that purpose. So I'm always saying, hey, be clear about your messaging. What is it that you require to, because I do know it's nowadays, as young people, we're forgetting that people are watching it, people are looking it up. I am someone that employs people, so I look it up all the time. It is a way to tell the story of your life. It is a way to tell the story of who you are. And if you want to tell the story of who you are, I think we're just more aware of the content that we place out there, and especially for those that take it and just use it just for social, opportunities. I use it for business personally. So what you think, Dominique?
Okay. I'm not on social media that much. If I am, I think one of the things that, you guys had is how to use it, like being either observing or posting. I am the one that's observing. I'm the one that's scrolling. I use it more for connection. I use it more for just to stay connected to my friends, to stay connected to my family, see how they're doing. That is it. I go through this process every year. Like, if it's just a person that I haven't spoken to in like a year and they're just on there just to be on there, I'm like, you haven't said anything. I haven't said anything to you. And I delete them. Like, I delete them and just literally keep it small. So it's just for family. It's just for friends that I have not seen. And I'm literally just observing. I'm reposting things that I know that it's going to be helpful. With me being on staff at a church, I repost our sermons. I repost, me being the director of operations of our mental health ministry. I post things that's based off of mental health. And I also, I encourage other business owners like yourself. Like, I encourage them and repost things that I feel like it's going to be, is educational purposes. But I'm not going to post anything about, there's a shortage on gas. Like, nobody has time for that. Like, we got enough things to worry about. I'm not adding more. I'm not adding that to my social media. So I am.
And we already know, like, everybody's posting that. Like, thank you.
We know.
Everybody's already posting that. So it's like, why do I need to add on to that?
Right. And so I'm the person that's observing more than posting, and just staying connected to my family and my friends.
I love that.
So for my teen girls, if you're watching right now, what it is for you guys is, What I do love is, as Dominique was saying, it takes an opportunity for networking. And so right when you don't know how to use it, what I will encourage you all to do is to really, really get into a space where you begin to decide what you really want to be in life, how your future looks in life, and begin to follow those that falls in that category. I spoke to someone years ago and said, nowadays, this social media world actually has a plus to it. And that is in that positive aspect of networking and building relationships. And so young people, if you're watching this right now and there is a space that you want to get in and you're asking yourself, how do I do it? I don't know nobody in it. I don't know no one that's, go in there, search a hashtag. You'll find out who's really in that, in that space. And I'm clear that if you go on their DMs and you say, hey, you know what? I'm interested in a mentor. Could you help me in this space? So for my teenage girls, I push that you guys have to do something. You got to get in schools and you want to, you want to get respect and you want to get internships and you want to get all these opportunities, but you're missing the opportunity to really get in some of the rooms. And social media has giving you that opportunity to get in some of these rooms. And it's, of course, this is something that goes over to my adults as well. You can get in some of these rooms by social media. I'm able right now to speak to some people that I probably would never be able to speak before. I'm able to shout out Ann Callahan, Ann Callahan, how you doing? That's something that, again, the world hasn't, been having privileged us to do, to get into some of these rooms. So I think that's one of the things I would like to see more of our young people do is get into a space where they're following and they're getting in there. They're asking, mentors to help them. They're asking for people to help lead the way, especially those that's in these underserved communities. Come on, guys. This social media has absolutely opened the door and created a playing field for us that is pretty, creating an even playing field almost for us that wants to excel in business and in that form. Because all that other stuff, all that other stuff is out the window. It's gonna pass. People that used to be beautiful 7 years ago. I'm even gonna tell you, beauty even passes. Okay, because I see them now, I be like,
sure does.
You be like, Lord, is that them? You can make sure that's them. They don't even look the same no more, right? It's like because you didn't put too much emphasis on that. So let's not do that. And let's get into a space where we're restructuring, our balance, our restructuring restructuring our social media, restructuring our minds, restructuring where we're at today. Let's start that. We can start today. Today is your Genesis. Today is your new beginning. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Always a new start. I love that. Yeah. I love, Dominique, what you said about keeping your circle small and really only being intentional about who you're following and those that are following you. So it's really just close family and friends. You interact with them on a regular basis and you see their family photos, you share your family photos. So it's just family and friends. I love that. I use my my social media for a little bit of both connecting with people, networking, and also business side of it too. I found several of my clients through social media, so it's been great for business as well as connecting. I meet so many different people. I'm in the fitness world, so I'm always excited when I find a new gym, and I want to reach out to the person at the gym and see, meet people before I get there. And that's a great way to do it on social media as well. And being a part of different groups, whatever you're interested in, there is, I am sure, a group for it. Whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to knit, you want to be in a book club, there's so many different groups and you can meet people through those different groups, whatever you're interested in. Yeah. I can't tell you how many fitness groups I'm a part of. But it's a great way to meet all kinds of people from all over the world.
Yeah. And if there's not a group, create a group. Create a group and start inviting people.
I love it.
You have the power to change the narrative. You don't have to go with Joe Schmo. You don't have to follow,
I love it.
My teenage girls. You don't have to show skin. You're beautiful. You create your narrative. Create your own narrative. Create your own group. If it's a group of, hey, we could be sexy and still have clothes on, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. You have the power to do that.
People in the back.
Be the change you want to see. Be the change that you want to see. That part.
Yes.
You know what? That's where that drop the mic kind of come in, right? And so right, I know we're at 7:30, and so Deborah, I know with you creating kind of the discussion today, but some more stuff you want to throw out there for sure. Anybody got any extra questions? But building your own page.
I love that.
It's 2021. Let's do it.
So on top of that, if it's something you're interested in, guess what? I'm sure there's gonna be somebody else out there as well that is also interested in waiting, just sitting around waiting for somebody to start it. So you would be surprised at how many people would be interested in whatever you come up with.
Yes. The
last thing that I'd like to add, and we kind of touched on it a little bit. The type of content that you put out, it's about the quality, not the quantity of content. So it's not about how much you post,
right,
but about what you're posting.
Right.
As well as your engagement. It's not, we shouldn't be worried about the likes and, oh my God, nobody commented. It's been up for an hour. What happened? Should I take it down? Not gonna lie, I've had that feeling like, oh, that must not have been a great photo. Like, what should I take it down and just leave it up? It's fine.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh my God. I love this conversation. This is why I'm laughing, because I've heard it. I've because I've also had that experience where I'm like, okay, you know what? I just want to put bright things. Let's go. My husband says I'm really bad at posting and walking away, so I don't interact on my own posts a lot. Like, I'm sorry, it's just kind of my, I just kind of do. I kind of just put it out there and be like, okay, And so, I was saying I'm going to interact some more. I was like, because, he'll go back and say something and say hello or something. I post and I go. But it is for me to control and to manage my mental health. I do a lot of mental health managing. And so I do have a recipe in life and so every, it's kind of that recipe where I got to have my prayer time. I got to have the devotion time. I got to have a time for, like maybe meditation. But you kind of create, then I got meetings and things like that. And so I really don't have that time to really kind of be on it all day. And so I think a lot of us need to, and again, if I'm talking to some young people, let's begin to kind of put together a schedule for your life, Just get to put together that recipe of the day that works for you, that keeps you in peace, keeps you in harmony, and not allowing social media to have you have up and downs. You'd be reading it and 1 minute you'd be, I mean, social media had your little emotions. You be all over the place. You like
all over the place.
Smiling like, I mean, I know 1 minute I'll be like sad, and I'll be smiling. I'm like, oh my God, it's about 10,000, about 1,000 emotions I'm gonna go through in a day just by reading everybody posts, right? Rodney came on and said he's good enough. I just wanted to acknowledge Mr. Willis came in. So good to see you come in. So yes, I think that's that's just something that I feel like we just got to get. So if my young people are watching, get your daily schedule. You got to get in school. You got to do that. Buckle up and get control. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of controlling your destiny and time. And, time is not given back to you. You got to, know like the whole day will pass. It's all you've been able to do is be on social. You'll be like, what? And I'm gonna just say it. I look at it be 2 hours and pass. How you get caught up in 2 hours, Tragil? I start talking to myself. Damn.
She also means TikTok too. TikTok is social media to young people.
Yes. TikTok is social media too. All day TikTok. Trying to learn that man's leg up, blah. All day to try to post.
Oh my gosh, that is funny.
And there's so
or just sitting there watching videos, TikTok videos.
Yeah, and we're not coming that you guys like to do, but I would like for you guys to just give of course, give yourself time limits on these things.
Yes.
You know,
that is the thing. So you can set your phone to give yourself a time limit on the different apps on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Wow.
You can put a setting in your phone.
Mm-hmm.
See,
it'll kick you off at that time.
They're helping us out.
Yes.
No excuses, right?
Nope. No excuses. Put the phone down and go for a walk or go read a book. Go clean up something.
Yeah.
This is one last thing, and I know we're gonna be getting off because we just we kind of been going over time. As a teenage girl advocate, I'll miss the opportunity to say when we talk about the trap, and since we're using trap and we're using social media in two conversations, not to get away from the mental health space, but just to say it's also a trap when it comes to that sexual abuse space. So I just want to take the opportunity to that space to understand that, listen here, you guys got to be strong enough mentally to be able to know when there's some traps. Stop talking to these men. Stop being prey and being vulnerable to these people.
That's so good.
I cannot express how much how much has happened over COVID when we talk about the trap, when we talk about social media. It has been, kind of a very scary space. Like, this is when, how we'll say an underserved community is the most vulnerable, but all girls have been vulnerable during COVID-19 because of the two things that we're mentioning now, the trap of social media. And that's been an issue with some of our sex trafficking, sex abuse, pedophiles, things of that nature. And so I just want to urge all you young people that's on here is to be careful, stay out of some of those apps that is not truly for you, stay out of communicating. And so when I was saying, be able to share some stuff is coming into your post, to your parent, to your family member, that someone is saying something and it's not, it's not right. Right from wrong. Come on, guys. And be able to let people know about that. So just wanted to make sure that I put that alert out there, because we talked about both. And that vulnerability space is absolutely something that I find, that's fearful. It's something that I'm always afraid of. And we're vulnerable because of this social media and this trap. So had to get that off.
Good. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
So that's so good, Tragil.
Yeah. Yeah. Find yourself a safe person that you can talk to, whether it is a family member, it is a friend. Find yourself a safe person to talk to, because I think that's going to make a huge difference in helping you make that decision.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Agreed.
Finding that place, that safe person, even when it comes and bringing it back to mental health. Listen, even when it comes to that, we, some things we are, holding in, some things we are carrying. And when we don't have the dollars for therapy and we don't have the dollars for those life coaches, we just may need to find a confidant, a person that we can talk to, that can help us be able to navigate through the conversation. So for me to have a young person that was like, man, I just had a conversation with, she was just like, man, everybody graduating, and I'm glad she found this was a safe space for me to be able to talk to her and let her know, I know you've seen that, and I know it does, but just, I want you to give yourself grace and be proud of where you're at today, right? It's amazing of the things that some of us been able to accomplish if we just sit still and even, create our own reel, create your own reel about all the amazing things, whatever you got to do to keep yourself in a positive space. Yes.
Be your own hype person. Hype yourself up. You deserve it.
Oh, good.
Hype yourself up.
Yes. Don't for a minute. Hype yourself up all day.
Yes. Yes. Because you have to hype yourself up. Because you're always with yourself. So if you don't hype yourself up, who's gonna hype you up? But Tragil, the last thing I wanted to add on to that, what you'd said, once you look back at how far you've come, you realize that and I'm trying to make sure I say this right. Once you look back at how far you've come, you're further than you thought you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're much closer to where you're headed than you are from where you first started.
Yeah. And that's you
Did I say that right?
Yeah. You know what? I get it. I hope everybody else getting it. It's you taking your own story and you writing it and you're being clear that, listen, those challenges that I went through, those things that I went through is not, you know what I'm saying? Like I overcame these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I look up the mother of all thinking traps is finding ourselves trapped in this cycle, undermining our resilience.
Ooh.
Right? Just undermining our resilience. So for those that are finding themselves in situations undermining your resilience, you have to be able to, look at it, that this thinking trap that you're finding yourself in. I'm telling you, don't undermine your resilience, Deborah. You felt that, didn't you?
So, that's so good.
He's like, man, I'm
over here like, yo,
that's good for me. Yes. So yeah, let's get into that space. We got to stop undermining that space. You are awesome. You are good enough. You are amazing. And what God is inside of you, He's going to bring people into the fold. You can believe that, if He's giving it to you, He's giving you the vision. You got a provision for the vision, right? And so just keep believing God for it. Keep putting faith, putting your faith there, and watch God. So trust Him, follow Him, and amen. Yeah, right. So we just turned to the church. She just said, "Amen." That's it. That conversation. It's going to be okay. So for those that is finding themselves in a mental health space and you are on some form of medication, one of the things I have learned is sometimes you may need it to create the appropriate balances. And once you are at a level balance, then finding now the opportunity to kind of wing yourself off of them is absolutely something. Once you find out kind of your triggers and things that get you into that space, is so what I do know is that once you're on something, you don't have to stay on it. Once it's you do have the ability to be delivered, to be healed from those things, and I do believe that. So I'm just excited that you two ladies had some time this evening to jump on and have a conversation and motivate and encourage and educate the people that are watching. We all about the educate, empower, right? And encourage. And so we're really, really excited that everybody did get on. We hope that you go back, listen to what we talked about, get some nuggets, because although we talked about the trap, we also talked about ways to help you through these traps that you find yourselves in. So you ready for next week? I'm already hyped.
Yes, I'm ready for next week. Next week.
What's next week?
Next week, our topic of discussion is.
We had that trap today. We had the first.
All about the selfie.
All about the selfie.
All about the selfie. What?
That's gonna be so good.
That's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one.
So guys, we
need to know what the selfie is all about, y'all. Tune in next week.
Share this conversation, or go back and share the flyer to let them know that Mondays we are on and we do want to communicate. We want to be able to communicate with you guys. You guys didn't do as much feedback and talking as our first week guests, our first week viewers, but we're excited that you guys are going to get the groove and get in the mood, and y'all going to be able to get in this conversation with us. But in the meantime, we thank you so much for joining us. Follow us at americasbigsisters.com. Follow us on America's Big Sisters Facebook, YouTube. Yes.
Like the subscribe button.
Push the subscribe button. We're trying to get 100 subscribers. Yes, because once I get to this 100, I'm going to show you guys how we're going to really change kind of the ability to really sell the page more. So we got to get you guys to get us to that 100 number. If you have not, start following. All right. That's it for us. Anything, Deborah?
That's all that I have for tonight.
That's all we have for tonight. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Dominique, for getting on as our guest.
Thank you so much, Dominique.
Appreciate you. Yes, you are amazing. And so, guys, we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.